Hello and welcome to Morning Negativity. Negativity is such a great way to start your day, almost afternoon, actually. Let's get started. So, today we're running a local version because I've added a feature for us to test. And oh, that's not the one I wanted to click on. And someone added this nice point, which we can explore. So, who was that? Jord. Give them my kissing link. So the new feature is that you can actually scroll the feed. And because I've written such excellent code, it was really hacky to implement. But I think it's all working. That's what we'll test today. Yeah, so let's go explore this one. I don't like this gap here. We'll fix that before we push. Actually, we will fix that right now. Okay, that's much better. Look at that. Let's get back to it. So, negation game can help us arrive at better decisions than doubts. Obviously, we can do the inverse. Negation game cannot be used to help us arrive at better than doubts. Any way that this should be edited, or should we just do the direct inverse? Let's just do the direct inverse. Let's go ahead and mutually negate them. So we can click here, and that should now be mutually negated. Yep, we've got our infinite loop. Obviously, this is relevant here, and this is relevant here. So why can't it be used to help us arrive at better decisions in DAOs? So the interface, the process, is much too foreign. Which makes it unusable and hard to teach. Concepts are much too foreign. Foreign are complicated. Of the concepts. It should say something like the concepts of the negation game. Do I want to delete? All right, I'll delete. So to delete, it's great to go here. Well, let's copy this. We go here, we delete this. We go back, we delete this. We go click up here. It should be gone now. And Yeah, that's a good one. It could be complicated or it could be useless. So the negation game is useless. Um, uh, does not provide any useful um, oops, new and useful primitives, surface behavior, dynamics, um, concepts, tools. So you could just say that it is not a useful tool. But I had a shortcut to swap letters around, but I don't know it. The negation game is not a useful tool. That's kind of like reiterating this one. I think those would end up being no ability yet to handle. Can I have what I had back, please? Okay. Does not provide any new, let's say, what's the best argument here? Let's just say anything new or useful. Process of making decisions. Process of collective decision making. Okay, that's a pretty good one. Another way that this could be true is used to help us arrive at better decisions in DAOs. So we could grant that. Okay, so if this were true, that would matter. If this were true, that would matter. We could grant that it does both of these things. So you could grant that it's not complicated, it's learnable, and you could grant that it does provide something new. But you could still say that there are discrete issues. So the guy who wrote the code for the negation game wrote really shitty code. And so the tool is totally unusable and slow. That's fair. The negation game only works on desktop and most DAO members use desktop or okay, not enough. Not enough DAO members use desktop for the total to be useful. I don't know if this is true, and I don't know if it's relevant. It might be true. I don't know. Let's see. The nation. I feel like there's a good one here that has to do with yeah. While the negation game increases the number of possibilities explored. That's so granting the inverse of this, not the primary of by DAOs. Let's say it this way. The primary problem faced by DAOs problem probably faced by collective decision making. Primary collective decision making problem faced by DAOs is not the process of generating possibilities. That's easy. Everyone has ideas, but the process of, I want to say alighting, but we're going to replace this. Selecting from among the many possibilities to find the pragmatic consistent options. Selecting, but instead the process of selecting from among the many possibilities to find a few options. Okay, we're 80% of the way there. The primary collective decision-making problem faced by DAOs. The primary problem faced by DAOs is not the process of generating possibilities. That's easy. Everybody has ideas. But instead the process of selecting from among the many possibilities. The few pragmatic, consistent plans of action. The few pragmatic, consistent You could also talk about whether or not the plan is supported. You could also shut up and say good. That's better. Okay. What do you think of this new indigo color on hover? I don't know. I don't know about it. So I think this is true. I think this matters, and it's true. Okay, so we could argue that this doesn't matter because you could say it's possible to use a negation game to generate many possibilities. The negation game could be used. Right? Parallel, and then two. Used to this game could be used to generate many possibilities in parallel. So I want to say something about writing points, which is that I'm learning that, like, early on when I was using this, I was kind of pretending like the whole thread that I was a part of was being considered in my response, but it's not, right? If you actually look at the structure of this thing here, all that you have is you have the point, and then you have the invalidation of the point. And you can't see from here that this point might be invalidating something else, right? That's kind of hidden from you. And even if you could, you would see that it applies to many things. You wouldn't see the path that this was applied to. Now, in principle, you could add that metadata here. So inside of my na, it could have a bunch of IDs that say the path that this applies to. But what's challenging about that is then the path that it applies to is kind of this hyperedge instead of just being an edge. And somehow the user will have to indicate that, this is an argument about this entire chain instead of just an argument about how these two things relate to one another. So like in traditional knowledge graph terms, you call this a triple. In this case, you have like the node itself, and then you have the node that it applies to. Here it's in the form of a reply, and then you have the node that it's kind of like coming from. And that's what this is. And normally in knowledge graphs, you have many different kinds of triples. Here in the negation game, we just have one kind of triple, which is called a negation. Triples are often drawn as like the canonical example. We can steal our little icons from over here. The canonical example of a triple is you have some statement that says space X. Over here, something that says Elon Musk. And then you have some node here that says is CEO of. And then your triple is like, let's just do it this way. It's like this. So your triple is those three pieces of data. And what you can see in the negation game is that we don't have the only kind of triple that we have is the na triple, the negating triple. And for now, I'm not going to tell you why we just have that, but basically it's enough is the key idea. Okay, so all that to say that if you do anything other than that, then you need these hyper edges, and hyper edges like actually go through multiple points and kind of get more complicated to try and define. Is CEO of, and founded in, maybe founded in, and maybe this is like the year, I don't know, 2007. I don't know what the year was. And you can see how this is basically impossible if you have different definitions of your triple. It's not really impossible. It's really complicated. Since we have just one kind of triple, this is possible, but I think from a user experience perspective, it's more complicated. So right now I'm playing with this idea of your point must be relevant to the point above it, and kind of those other places where I acted like the whole thread matters. I think nowadays nowadays being 4 days later, I would put a little doesn't matter on that, because I would point out that the one point has nothing to do with the parent point, even though it might have been made in a thread. And so that simplifies, our data structure and the mental model that a user needs to use, and the UX and the UI and all that stuff. So let's see if it's sufficient, and if it's not, then obviously we can find alternatives. Okay, so the Negation Game could be used to generate many possibilities in parallel, and then different tool can be used to select from among them. Okay, that's a possibility. And this is good. So far, we have on this branch, this feature branch, we've made negations. We have made we made veracity negations. We've made relevance negations. We have liked relevance. We have liked veracity. We have gone 2 levels deep without any problems. We have returned to the main page without any problems. We've selected from here. We can select from here without problems. So I'm going to say that this feature branch is done, and we now have a feed that you can scroll. Amazing. Amazing that we launched without a feed that you can scroll. But the point here is to learn, not to make a product. So it's to learn in order to one day make a product out of what seems to be useful. And it seemed like the minimal set did not include a feed, so we didn't include a feed, and guess what? It wasn't a problem. And that's the new person I'm committing to being, the kind of person that writes code that is extremely ugly and that would kill Prior Connor, but that exists. That matters more. Can we use to arrive at better decisions in DAOs? I think we came up with a lot of reasons why this isn't true. And now, let's see if anyone else has things to add. And I look forward to seeing your contributions. Okay, bye.